Okay, welcome to the deep dive. We're about to jump into something really quite fascinating today. We're pulling insights from a stack of sources, all looking at, well, consciousness,
Hmm.
but through a really unique lens,
Hmm.
music and improvisation.
That's right.
So our mission basically is to cut through all the complexity here and pull out the key nuggets. Help you understand how awareness works and maybe how creative tools like music and spontaneity can be powerful guides for exploring your inner world and, well, fueling personal growth.
Yeah, it's a great approach because consciousness itself, I mean, it's one of the biggest mysteries out there, isn't it?
Totally.
But what's brilliant about this material is how it connects such a vast abstract idea to something so accessible, so fundamental like music and just creating on the spot.
Right.
It really takes you on a journey from the basic elements of what awareness even is, right through to, practical ways you can actually weave these concepts into your own life.
And some of the concepts we're going to explore are honestly pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine seeing inner conflict not just as a problem, but kind of like musical dissonance that needs resolution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or thinking about those aha moments, those flashes of insight, as having their own, like, volume and intensity.
That's a fascinating idea.
Or even how simply embracing improvisation, letting go and being spontaneous, can unlock surprising new dimensions of your thinking. Okay, let's unpack this stack of sources and see what this deep dive reveals.
All right, let's do it. So, starting at the beginning, what is consciousness, according to this material?
Yeah, the big question.
Well, they frame it as the fundamental canvas of human experience. The state of being aware of your own existence, your thoughts, everything around you. That's the baseline. And they break down the essential, let's say, brushstrokes on that canvas.
Yeah.
First, there's just plain awareness. Being able to perceive your internal world feelings, thoughts, and the external world sights, sounds, and this awareness, it can be really broad, just taking everything in, or it can be intensely focused.
Got it.
Then there's self-awareness, which is turning that lens back on yourself, recognizing you're a distinct person, reflecting on your own mental state.
Hmm.
Two other crucial aspects they highlight are intentionality. This idea that your thoughts and perceptions are always about something, directed towards an object or an idea.
Right, they have a target.
Exactly. And subjectivity, this one's key. It highlights that your conscious experience is uniquely yours, filtered through your history, your perspective. It's your private movie, essentially.
And it's worth remembering, like this material points out, people have been grappling with this canvas idea for, well, centuries.
Oh, absolutely.
They touch on thinkers like Descartes, I think, therefore I am,
Right.
really separating mind and body.
Yeah, the classic starting point.
But they also bring in more modern takes, like materialism, which
Mhm.
basically says consciousness is just what the brain does. It's a product of physical processes.
Mm-hmm. The brain-based view.
Or even something like panpsychism, which is this intriguing idea that maybe consciousness isn't just humans. Maybe it's a fundamental property of all matter, even down to tiny particles.
Which is quite a leap.
It is. But it just shows the sheer range of attempts to figure this thing out.
Exactly. And when you connect this back to the inner self journey they discuss in the sources, understanding this canvas is really the first step to maybe harmonizing with it.
Harmonizing, okay?
Yeah, and this journey involves things like self-reflection, actively looking at your inner landscape, emotional awareness, just noticing and accepting your feelings without judgment, mindfulness, being present, engaging in healthy inner dialogue, and ultimately integration, bringing all those different parts of yourself into a more cohesive whole.
Okay, so that's the groundwork on consciousness. Yeah. Now, where does music come into this picture? This material calls music a universal language, which I think we can all sort of nod along to.
Sure, yeah.
But more powerfully, they frame it as a tool for actually shaping our awareness.
Shaping it. How does that work?
Well, think about it. Music has this incredible power to just like reach inside and evoke emotions,
Yeah.
right? It draws you into a particular state.
Mm-hmm.
They use the example of listening to a symphony, the way the melodies change, the rhythm, the dynamics. It's not just sound hitting your ears. It actively pulls your awareness along with it. It shifts your internal experience, maybe from tension to release or melancholy to joy.
And there's a really beautiful link they draw between music and mindfulness.
Oh, yeah.
Both are practices of attunement to the present moment. So whether it's really listening deeply to calming music while you meditate, or even the act of playing music, like improvising,
Hmm.
it becomes a form of mindful exploration. You're completely present in that creative flow.
That makes sense. They also introduced this idea called reflective listening.
Reflective listening.
It's not just, having background music on. It's consciously paying attention to how different styles or genres actually affect you, how they land in your mood, your thoughts, your state of awareness.
So being more deliberate about it.
Exactly. And why should you care? Because they suggest that consciously engaging with music this way is actually a direct path to consciously engaging with yourself.
Right. It's recognizing music's deep emotional resonance, how it connects with us emotionally, and even the more subtle musical influences.
Like background music.
Yeah, exactly. That music in a store or a song playing faintly that you don't consciously focus on, it's still likely impacting your perception and your mood, maybe below the surface. It just shows how deeply music is intertwined with our conscious experience.
Okay, so music influences perception.
Right. And building on that, the material explains that perception itself isn't just one flat thing. It operates on a broad scale, from the subtle to the profound.
A scale. Oh.
Let's look at the subtle layers first. These are the everyday things, the stuff we notice almost without thinking. Simple sensory impressions like the texture of fabric, a distant siren, a faint smell. It also includes those quiet, intuitive insights, those gut feelings that aren't strictly logical but somehow guide us.
Yeah, I know those.
There's also background awareness, all the things you're vaguely conscious of but aren't really focusing on. And even tiny things like micro expressions on someone's face. Subtle shifts.
Okay, so that's the subtle end. What about the profound?
Right, then sometimes perception hits us with a lot more force, those profound dimensions.
Like big moments.
Exactly. This is where things get really impactful, often transformative. They talk about transcendent awareness, those moments of feeling deeply connected, maybe a sense of unity, sometimes spiritual in nature.
Okay.
Then there are eureka moments, that sudden electrifying flash of insight where a solution or a deep understanding just appears.
The light bulb moment.
Precisely. Also, aesthetic experiences, those deep, moving connections you feel with art or, of course, music.
Yeah.
And finally, transformative realizations. Insights so profound they actually shift your perspective on yourself or the world, leading to lasting change.
Wow. And this is where it gets really interesting, right? Seeing how music isn't just background noise or entertainment. It can actually touch us on all these levels.
Exactly.
From just subtly shifting your mood to maybe triggering one of those profound emotional epiphanies.
Precisely. The material positions music as a powerful tool for navigating the spectrum of perception. It can gently nudge your mood, like background music does, or it can deliver a real blast of emotional or aesthetic impact that feels like a major realization. It really acts as a kind of gateway to perception, helping you access and understand these different depths of awareness within yourself.
Okay, so we've talked about how music influences us when we listen. Let's shift gears a bit. What happens when we create or engage more spontaneously? Let's talk improvisation. This material presents improvisation not just as, a skill for musicians, but as a fundamental practice for cultivating spontaneous awareness, and really crucially for personal growth. They define it simply as creating spontaneously and without premeditation.
Yeah, it's about that in-the-moment creation.
Right.
And they break down what's involved. Spontaneity, obviously acting or responding without a script.
Right.
Creativity, generating new ideas on the fly. And adaptability, being able to adjust instantly as things change around you.
Makes sense.
And they mention its rich history, in traditions like jazz, obviously, but also classical cadenzas and various world music forms. It's everywhere.
So how does this connect to personal growth then?
Well, according to this material, when you apply this improvisational mindset, it unlocks several things. It enhances self-awareness because it encourages authentic expression you can't really hide when you're improvising.
Sure.
It sharpens creativity and problem solving because it forces you to innovate, often under pressure. It helps you get comfortable with embracing uncertainty, which builds resilience. And it naturally fosters mindfulness and presence because you simply have to be focused on the now to improvise effectively.
One of the most powerful ideas here, I think, is that improvisation is essentially a practice of letting go.
Letting go.
Letting go of needing to control everything, letting go of expectations, letting go of that pressure to be perfect.
Yeah, the perfectionism trap.
Exactly. And it's also about learning to trust intuition and the subconscious mind. Why is this so important? Well, they argue that by stepping outside your usual, maybe rigid patterns, you can access deeper layers of consciousness that your habitual, sometimes overthinking mind keeps hidden away.
Opening up new channels.
Yeah. And they even offer practical ways from the materials. You might try this in your own life. It could be actual musical improvisation, even if you're not musical.
Or just noodling around.
Right, or trying free writing, just letting words pour onto the page without censoring yourself, or even participating in improv games. Those exercises designed to get you comfortable with spontaneity. You could actually give it a shot.
Definitely worth exploring. Okay, so moving from the flow of improvisation to, well, the inevitable bumps in the road, inner conflict.
Ah, yes, the fun part.
This material offers a really fantastic musical metaphor for navigating it. They describe inner conflict as being like dissonance in music.
Dissonance, those clashing notes.
Exactly. Those clashing tones that create tension, maybe unease. And harmony, then, is the resolution of that tension.
Okay, I like that metaphor.
And they describe the nature of inner conflict as basically a clash between opposing forces within you, competing desires, maybe conflicting beliefs, or emotions pulling in different directions. This can show up as emotional, cognitive, moral, or even spiritual conflict.
But here's the really insightful bit from the material, I thought. This inner dissonance, this tension, it isn't something to just be avoided or stamped out.
Right, it's not inherently bad.
No. They emphasize its purpose. It's actually a catalyst for change. It's a pathway to self-awareness and an opportunity for integration.
Yeah.
That tension signals something needs attention, and it can actually push you to grow.
And the music metaphor holds up so well here. Think about the role of tension in music. It grabs your attention, right? It evokes emotion, creates anticipation for what comes next.
Yeah, it keeps you listening.
That mirrors exactly what inner conflict does in our lives. And the process of musical resolution, moving from that tension into harmony, that's what we're often seeking internally. They even note that sometimes resolution in music or in life can be delayed or maybe unexpected. It doesn't always resolve neatly.
And they highlight this idea of harmonizing dissonance. Sometimes the goal isn't to completely eliminate the conflict, make it disappear, but to actually integrate it.
Integrate it.
Yeah, like how adding complex, maybe slightly dissonant chords to music can add richness and depth. Integrating conflicting parts of yourself can create a deeper, more nuanced sense of who you are. It's not about erasing the tension, but finding its place in the bigger composition.
That's a powerful way to think about it, and the material offers some practical techniques for navigating this internal dissonance. Well, cultivating mindful awareness of conflict. Just noticing the tension without getting totally swept away by it.
Okay, just observing.
Yeah. Journaling can help you externalize the tension, kind of get it out on the page and see it more clearly. Using music as a tool, actively listening to pieces that explore tension and resolution can actually mirror and help you understand your own emotional journey.
Interesting.
And even engaging in a sort of dialogue between conflicting parts of yourself, giving voice to the different sides of the argument within you.
Okay, let's get this musical perspective going. Let's apply it to the rhythm of life itself. This material talks about personal growth having a tempo.
A tempo, yeah. It's natural pace.
And life being full of syncopation.
Syncopation.
Yeah, those unexpected changes, challenges, or opportunities, the moments that deliberately hit off the main beat, you know.
Ah, okay. The offbeats of life. I like that.
Mm.
So the tempo of change means growth isn't just this steady linear march forward.
Right? Not at all.
It has rhythms, periods of expansion where things might move really fast, and then periods of contraction, maybe for rest or reflection. It's also about learning to align with your own personal rhythms, your energy cycles, your emotional flow.
And they wisely point out the dynamics of growth. There are valuable periods of slow growth where you're maybe building foundations, integrating things, reflecting.
Laying the groundwork.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there are necessary accelerated growth phases where you might seize an opportunity and make really rapid progress. Both paces are important, according to this material. They both have value.
Okay. And then there's syncopation. In music, emphasizing those offbeats, it adds energy, surprise, dynamism.
Yeah, makes it interesting.
So in life, it's the moments of unexpected change or disruption, the curveballs.
Right. So how do you deal with that syncopation?
Well, this material suggests that navigating life's disruptions is about more than just reacting. It's about learning to deal with the uncertainty, yes, but also actively looking for the opportunity that might be hidden within that change.
Finding the silver lining, sort of.
Kind of. It inherently requires adaptability, obviously, and a focus on cultivating resilience, bouncing back or maybe bouncing forward.
And they tie syncopation directly back to awareness, too. Embracing these disruptions, these offbeats, requires mindfulness and presence. staying grounded when things feel unpredictable.
Makes sense.
It helps you build rhythmic awareness, not just marching to the expected drum beat, but really noticing the unexpected beats, the variations around you.
Mm-hmm.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? This material suggests applying these ideas. See if you can spot opportunities lurking in disruptions, set goals that are flexible enough to handle unforeseen changes, and try to approach the unexpected with, maybe, curiosity instead of just fear. It's about finding your own rhythm of balance between the predictable routine and life's exciting, sometimes challenging, syncopation.
Now, for maybe a deeper dive within ourselves, this material talks about the soundscape of the subconscious.
Ooh, intriguing.
They describe it as this vast and intricate realm. Think of it like a complex internal environment filled with mental and emotional sounds, memories, desires, fears. Some are perfectly harmonic, fitting together nicely. Others are quite dissonant, clashing. And all of this is influencing us, often below our conscious awareness.
Like an inner soundtrack we don't always consciously hear.
Exactly. And they mention several techniques drawn from the sources that can help you start exploring this landscape. Things like dream analysis, trying to decode the symbols and feelings in your dreams.
Okay.
Free association, just letting your thoughts wander wherever they go without directing them too much. And using meditation and visualization to access these deeper, quieter states.
And they introduce another really fascinating dynamic concept, insight. It's not just one thing, apparently. It has both volume and intensity.
Volume and intensity. Okay, tell me more.
Right. So consider the volume. Quiet insights are described as like subtle whispers, a gradual unfolding of understanding. Maybe something dawns on you gently while you're just walking or doing something mundane.
The slow burn realization.
Yeah. Then there are loud insights. These are the true aha moments.
Yeah.
That sudden flash of clarity, often accompanied by strong emotions, like a breakthrough that hits you. Bam!
Okay, quiet versus loud and intensity. And then there's intensity. Low intensity insights are more cognitive, maybe a gentle clarity that's pretty easy to process, like realizing a small, simple truth about a habit you have. No big drama. But high-intensity insights, these are transformative. They can challenge your core beliefs, trigger really deep emotions, a profound epiphany that might actually change your direction.
Wow. So insights aren't all created equal.
Not at all. And why pay attention to these dynamics? The material suggests that understanding the volume and intensity of your insights helps you honor both the subtle and dramatic moments of awareness, recognizing that wisdom can come from a quiet nudge just as much as from a lightning bolt revelation.
That's a great point. We often only value the big ahas.
Exactly, and they list practices from the material to help you cultivate insight and essentially tune the mind to notice these different dynamics better.
Like what kind of practices?
Things we've touched on, actually. Regular meditation and mindfulness, journaling and reflection, engaging with music and creativity, getting physical exercise, taking a digital detox sometimes, and practicing breath work.
Okay, familiar tools.
Right. The core idea is that these all help create mental clarity.
Yeah.
And this material really emphasizes that mental clarity is essential for experiencing insight in all its various forms, loud or quiet, intense or gentle.
Okay, so bringing all these threads together then.
Yeah, let's integrate. This material strongly emphasizes that integrating these ideas about consciousness, music, improvisation, conflict, insight, that's how genuine growth really happens. They talk about navigating different conscious states, like understanding how insights from one state, maybe a dream, can actually inform your waking life.
That's interesting. And they powerfully reiterate how music isn't just entertainment or background noise. It's a legitimate therapeutic tool. They call it the harmonics of healing.
Harmonics of healing, I like that.
Yeah, it can help you express emotions you can't put into words, manage stress, maybe even aid sleep. And for many people, it can deepen spiritual awareness, helping you feel like you're truly resonating with the soul.
And they remind us again that improvisation, whether it's musical or just applied to how you approach life, is a journey of self-discovery. It builds your capacity to embrace uncertainty and gently, gradually let go of that need for rigid control.
So after exploring all of this, thinking about this whole stack of sources, what really stands out to you, the listener? The material really encourages you to build a personal practice, something that deliberately integrates awareness and insight.
Make it intentional.
Exactly. This could be through small daily routines, maybe regular reflective practices like journaling or meditation, or actively engaging with music and other forms of creative expression. It's really about recognizing that personal growth isn't a destination. It's a process of continuous growth and adaptation, like music itself.
So, to sort of summarize this deep dive, we've journeyed through the idea of consciousness as this dynamic canvas. We've explored how music acts as a really powerful tool for shaping awareness and even healing.
Yeah.
We've seen how improvisation can unlock spontaneous self-discovery and help you embrace uncertainty. We've reframed inner conflict and life changes through these rich musical metaphors, dissonance, tempo, syncopation.
Hmm.
We've understood that insights arrive with different volumes and intensities, and we've looked at practical ways to maybe cultivate a mind that's more attuned to notice all these dynamics and integrate them into your life.
It's really quite profound, isn't it? How this stack of sources uses music and improvisation to shed light on something as huge and complex as our own awareness and the whole process of personal growth.
It really is.
It truly shows that the journey of understanding ourselves is just as dynamic, just as ever-evolving as, well, a piece of music.
Which leaves us with a final, maybe provocative thought, pulling directly from this material for you to consider. If consciousness is indeed a dynamic, evolving process like music, constantly shifting in rhythm and intensity,
Yeah.
and if insight has its own volume and intensity, showing up as both those quiet whispers and the loud breakthroughs, then how can you become a more active, a more deliberate listener to the changing tempos, the surprising syncopations, and the subtle melodies of your own inner world to truly help guide your path forward?
A lot to reflect on there. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.